What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Heart of the 50 States. I am quietly brilliant. You know me. I give a shout out to my sponsors first. That is Industry Sounds and Midwest Lavish for keeping me fresh. You know what I'm saying? I got some what they call fine shit in here today. You know what I'm saying? A female. Y'all requested more females, so I went and got one. I'll let her introduce herself as she see.
Hey y'all, how's it going? My name is Gwenny, aka Miss Beauty. Super excited to be here today.
Gwenny, how are you doing? Nice to have you. Welcome to the Heart of the 50
Hey,
States.
nice to meet you. Super glad to be here.
Oh yeah, very talented artist, singer, rapper. I'm more of a fan of the rapper. I'm gonna be honest with you. How long have you been doing music? Well, let's not even start there. Are you from Kansas City?
So originally, I'm from Smithville, Missouri. I was
Okay.
born in Kansas City, but I was adopted. So I grew up most of my life in Smithville, and then the other part in Osceola, Missouri. And then I basically came back to Kansas City to pursue music fully after high school.
Okay. I don't know where I got you was from like Ohio. Somebody told me you was from like
Nah.
Ohio or some weird shit like that.
No, Osceola. It's a super, super small town. So half of my life was in Smithville, the other half in Osceola, and then a little bit of time in Kansas City here and there.
Okay. What got you into doing music?
So really, it's just always been a thing that I've just felt differently about. It's been more than a hobby for me for most of my life. I grew up singing and doing piano, and then kind of transitioned more into the singing realm. And then in high school, basically kind of let it go for a little bit. You know what I mean? But after school, I was like, that's something that I really missed doing. And then I started writing my own music because I was actually a cover artist for about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I wasn't doing anything of writing my own music until I actually moved up here. So it's been about 2.5 years of just being, in my bag. I just released my first album, which was super cool. First project and first festival. So it was definitely a blessing being able to come up here, be influenced by a lot of amazing creatives, but also create my own light and my own path.
How did you like being like a cover artist? How was that run?
It's interesting. I think that being a cover artist is awesome because it kind of gives you a breakdown of like music and just like basically where all it can go. And I don't know, it was just encouraging to see how people build a song.
Hmm.
And then basically when I tried to do it myself, I just found my light and found my love in it. So
Yeah. What was the moment when you was like, I need to be writing my own music and performing my own stuff?
I think it was the moment when I came up here and like really saw my friends doing it on a daily
Mm.
basis. It really kept me driven to be like, this is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly where I want to go with it. I feel like a lot of people, whenever they're really getting in tune with your music, you feel something different, and you provide a different type of emotion to your crowd, and that was something I wanted to do every day. So
Yeah. Well, I learned about you from Tunes and Tacos, with
yes,
Pesos. Shout out to Pesos.
shout out.
Um, you work with his collective. Has it benefited you? Like,
100%. Like I
yeah, I
can't even
see it.
explain how much, being a part of Pesos' collective has really like drawn me to be a better artist, but he motivates us in different ways. So like all of the artists are very different, but something we have in similar is our drive. And I feel like Pesos has given us the resources to be able to really fully explore that. You know what I mean? He's put me onto a lot of opportunities that, God has blessed me with, but He's blessed me with at the same time. And, it's really drawn me to be a better artist and keep that drive, keep that motivation. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who did you like grow up listening to? Like, who's some of your favorite artists that inspired you to do music?
Like Whitney Houston, Beyonce, Tiana Taylor, Missy Elliott for sure.
Okay.
Um, you know, um, I would also say SZA and Summer Walker. I don't know. I feel like all these artists are very powerful women who like have really drawn their way into the music industry and really paved their own path, paved their own identity. And that was something that was inspiring. You see people like pouring their all into their music, but not only that, but like I said, your crowd could feel that. So it really provides a different type of emotion when you're not able to create, physical feelings for people, but also like musically, people could feel that emotion. So
Yeah. Like, who all are you working with in the city? Are you collaborating with any artists? Are you? getting in the
Yeah.
studio with different people?
Most definitely. So I just finished up a song with Phantom Pesos and Hard Body that we released on my album. So that was the Muse. So I've been working with them. I've also been working with other artists, some of my close friends. So Jay Chill, also Zeke, LA France. And I also have a song that's about to come out with Sophie Hayes.
Shout out
Um,
Sovi.
so yeah, shout out Sophie. She's awesome. I've just been really blessed to work with a lot of different people, and I know that for this year the collabs are going to be even crazier, even wilder, and there's going to be me really creative. So
Dope. You out here working then, that's for sure. You got some really dope people. What's the name of the album that's out already?
it's called Gwendeland. So
Okay.
it's a yeah. So it's an Alice in Wonderland inspired album that basically showcases a creative spin on not only Alice in Wonderland but my journey to be the artist I am today in Kansas City. Kind of tells my story, but also ties in some amazing creatives in the city and kind of their perspectives as well. So it's really fun, really creative, but also I want people to listen to my music and feel driven to do more in their own creative realm. So that's really the purpose of the album as well. So yeah.
Dope. And when did you start writing your own music? Have you always been doing that?
So it's been about 2.5 years. So it was around the time that I actually moved up here that I started just creating my own music in general. So like I said, I was a cover artist for quite a few years. But then when I started, putting pen to pad, something was really connecting differently. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
a different type of feeling than just, basically singing someone else's songs. It gained a different type of respect, a different type of presence. So I really just started writing different stuff and just seeing what connected, what didn't, and then just kind of finding my sound, which is another cool thing about the album because it was kind of like not only my storytelling perspective of my journey, but
Hmm.
also, kind of giving people a different type of feel musically on like how I found my sound and found my identity as an artist and basically a world of creation that I didn't know much about. So it has a lot of different meanings, a lot of different perspectives, but it's me. So
That's all you can do is give them you and be true. Because I've learned throughout the once they find out the fake. You know what
most
I'm
definitely.
saying? They can pick it
Mhm.
out pretty much these days pretty quick, and you don't want that. You know what I'm saying?
Most
You
definitely.
you gain more by being yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's something about my music is, like every time someone hears me, they hear, the full version of me.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, anything that you hear in my songs, like, that's real life. You know what I mean? And I just love bringing a different perspective, not only through my music, but also through my performances as well. So I bring a different type of, intensity, I
Yeah,
guess,
you
to
do.
music.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's really rewarding. And I'm glad that I get to do what I do on a daily basis.
Okay, if you could work with anybody in the industry right now, not in Kansas City, just period.
Mm,
If you could go get anybody right now, who would you go get for a feature?
SZA or Doechii?
Doechii is dope.
Doechie's amazing.
People sleep on her for real. She get kind of a bad name, like she's an industry plant or something
No
like that.
way.
No,
Like, no
exactly,
way.
no
Because
way.
all that creativity that she brings to her music,
Yeah,
but also her visuals, because, like,
and she's around creatives. Her whole team,
yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, SZA,
Hmm.
uh, everybody over there at that camp is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's been there. People act like it's like Janelle Monae, right?
Hmm.
From Kansas.
Yeah.
Sh
I didn't know she was from here for the longest time.
yeah,
Honestly, I had no idea.
I had been seeing her in Outkast videos for years
Really?
before she blew up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But that was her putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? People still don't probably know. I can go to about 4 or 5 videos and be like, there she is.
That's
Just
crazy. I
playing
didn't even
her
know
part.
that.
Yeah, just playing her part.
That's like Leon
Learning.
Thomas, I
Yeah.
mean, Leon Thomas is
Leon
the
Thomas
same
is a
way. Because
great
everyone knows him from, like,
example.
being a part of that show, Victorious,
Hmm.
but he was in movies way before his time as well,
And writing
So,
songs. And
most
writing.
definitely.
It's dope. Have you gotten into writing for other people yet?
Not yet. Like, it's definitely something that I could do, but I don't know.
You're
I'm
gonna
just,
do it
well,
because
most
listen,
definitely,
I'm gonna tell you. I know that this is you might take it the wrong way, but you're
Mhm.
gonna do it because that helps pay. You know what
That
I'm
is true.
saying? It might not work for you, but it might work for somebody else. And I
Yeah.
think you're a pretty good writer. You know
Oh,
what I'm
most
saying?
definitely.
So
Like,
I know that you could do that. Right?
mhm.
Say I got a song for you.
I could
You know what I'm
definitely see
saying?
myself like putting, that different creative hat on to be
Yeah.
able to help people in that way. Like, I enjoy writing. I don't know, like, a lot of people like to freestyle and all that good
Hmm.
stuff. It's not that I can't freestyle. It's just that I prefer the like creative process of just like taking the pen to pad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like old school, like really getting down to it and really breaking it down, like where I can take a song. Because in my creative process, that's really where I start. Is just like kind of finding what connects and what makes sense to the beat that I'm listening to. So I could definitely see myself doing that for sure.
Yeah, get into different bags. Like I said, Leon, like you said, Leon Thomas, he was writing songs, and it's a lot of people like that. Lady Gaga,
That
she
is
she
true.
was writing
Yeah.
songs long before she was famous or brung it. You know what
And
I'm
for
saying?
movies too, which I
Yeah,
didn't realize for the longest time. But
yep.
yeah, like,
Writing scores. You
mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Simple things like as far as commercials even go for these new networks. You know what I'm saying? Just in between those, just little jingles.
Yeah,
It's easy. If you're sitting at home, you know what I'm saying? That's like if you can write that good, you know what I'm saying?
most
Make it
definitely.
work for you.
Yeah,
That's the advice I got for you. Stay consistent. You know what I'm
almost every
saying?
every day. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about it is like I feel like not only in the creation of a song, but you got to think about like your journey as an artist. Like ultimately, every day is a new opportunity to get better, a new
Hmm.
opportunity to be driven, but also a new opportunity to inspire someone else. So like if we take that outside of just making a song, you know what I mean? Because yeah, I could write a million songs for people, but it's all about how they're transpired. Because I feel like it's great to write for somebody, but like being able to inspire somebody to do it themselves as well is
Hmm.
something beautiful. So,
Yeah. It's always good when people get the meaning out of your songs. You know, it's a
hmm
lot of songs that just people hear these days they just want to bob to, but to actually get a meaning out of something, or
hmm
you sing a song or rap a song so well, I can see what you're talking about. I can actually
right,
put myself in those shoes, and that's the difference between an artist, you know what I'm saying, and somebody that's just doing music because the studio's there. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? You gotta. I feel like we're coming back to a time where people want to dance. You know what I'm saying? I know
Yeah,
the thugs don't want to hear that, but uh, I think we're tired of fighting. We're tired of getting shot at, or you know what I'm saying. We're so tired of that.
yeah.
People just don't know, but it's like we can't get away from it, especially here in Kansas City. It's starting to be a headache. Uh, what do you feel like we could do differently here to change the scene up a little bit?
I feel like what it really comes down to is just being, a human, remembering
Mm,
that, it starts with love and it starts with a decision to change. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when, because with the shooting, like that stuff is so crazy to me because,
crazy,
like,
crazy.
we come from a time where people would rather do that than to actually, communicate. Communication has now been turned into, violence. But why? You know what I mean? I feel
Yeah,
like as a community, it's going to take us to really take a stand and just like be that voice of reason, be that change. You know what I mean? Because it's got to start with somebody. But I feel like as a community, we all got to make that decision. Like, do we prefer the violence or do we provide? Like, do we want to see a change?
that's
And
what
I feel
gets the
like,
most attention, though.
which is
You can
crazy.
get on Facebook and be like, you know what, I love you guys. I love everybody. Two watchers,
Yeah,
two people watching.
that is
You get on
true.
there and say, "Fuck all y'all,
And
fuck all."
everybody tunes
Two or
in.
300 people, thousands watch.
And that's so crazy to me because I don't know. I feel like it really starts with love because I definitely see your perspective on it, but I think that it's beyond that now. Like people,
Yeah.
would rather turn to violence, and people get fueled by that because like that's what we see on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It's all about what you flood your mind with, right?
Hmm.
So like for instance, if I'm over here watching, baddies every weekend and I'm going to the
Yeah.
UFC fights and I'm going here, my brain is automatically going to be like, okay, I'm in attack mode, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like if we flood our minds with like positive shit that drives us, shit that fuels us, you know what I mean? Then what other choice will we have other than to be positive? But I feel like it all comes down to that choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Deciding to be a voice of reason, deciding to be a change maker, deciding to be, different amongst your peers. And I feel like a lot of people would rather show out than to change.
Yeah.
Why?
And,
You know?
and something else I've been thinking about lately is growing up, they be like, it ain't the music. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I think we need to take another look at that. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Because I feel like these kids here, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, young boy this, shoot 'em up, that, shoot 'em. When I was coming up, we had a chance to either be gangster or dance, or dance and be the partier. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like gangster.
Right.
That's the you better not be soft. You better not want to dance. You know what I'm saying? We gonna look at
Mm-hmm.
you this way. You won't be accepted. When I was coming up, that really wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying? Now it's I gotta find a way to sneak my pole in this club, or I ain't going.
Right. And that's so disappointing, like with everything. Because, you know, it's just so sad to see people turn so quickly to violence and feel like they don't have that choice. Because you definitely do. You know what I mean? And like how you said, like it starts with the music. I don't know. Like, you know, if people I knew my story before I became the artist
Mm,
I was, you know what I mean? You would not believe it. You would not believe the roads that I walked, you know what I mean, to be the artist I am today. But it's like it all took a choice. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It all took a choice to be different, to grow, to evolve, you know, and I think that a lot of people are stuck in that mindset like I can't change. And I
yeah,
feel like if as long as you stay in that mindset, nothing will change. So like, you know, if you're constantly, you know, victimizing yourself or if you're constantly, you know, being in situations that are unsafe or you know what I mean, like different stuff like that, then that's kind of the category that you fall. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's the unfortunate truth about it. But I think that also, you know what I mean, you don't have to be what you're used to.
yeah. Or
You
where
know
you
what I
come
mean?
from.
Or where you come from. Like it, you know, it's all about that change. Not saying that it wouldn't always be in you, because
Yeah,
I know that you know some paths that I had to walk in life. That's always going to be something that carries with me, but it's not my moving forward point. It's not who I'm going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, a decade from now. You know what I mean? It's all about having that choice to change and really embracing it. You know, wanting to evolve. So
right. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on the nail, or however they say it. Or
shoot, I try. You know.
what do you ultimately plan on getting from this musical journey?
I feel like I just want to inspire people. You know what I mean? I want to create music with meaning. I want people to, you know, feel a different type of emotion in every one of my songs. You know what I mean? We could go from the turn up vibe to the chill out vibe to the, you know, banging my head in my bedroom. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like different types of vibes because I don't know. Like I said, every time that I write, I feel something different, you know, especially through the beats that I write to, you know. And I just want to be able to inspire people. I want people to listen to my music and be like, "Damn, I could do that too."
Yeah.
You know, feel driven in a way. But also just, you know, exploring what I love, creating music that I love and, you know, kind of giving that back to my fans and everything.
Dope. Okay. Are you working on anything right now? Any other projects? I know you said
So
you just dropped. When did the album come out?
So Gwendeland came out November 1st.
Oh, so it's a
And
couple months.
yeah, so it's been good.
I go get that.
Yeah, so everyone tap in. Gwendoland available right now on all platforms. It's been great. Like Gwendoland has been an experience. So kind of to give you a little bit of a backstory on the album. So the album was made over the course of a year. But at the same point in time that I was creating this album, I was creating my festival, which I threw November 15th. So it's about
Okay.
15 days after the album released. I brought out, you know, five big podcasts here in KC. Did
You
a
didn't tell
fashion show.
us.
I know I
You
didn't
didn't. You
know.
didn't.
Yeah, I'm
Stony.
so sorry.
Stony. She didn't tell us.
I was caught up.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted you to
I'm
put that
so
in your
sorry.
head.
I'm so sorry. And the crazy part is that like you know this is something that I want to do annually. So I know
Yeah.
that the next one I got you.
All
You
right.
know,
Okay. We'll
but
take
it was
that.
a blessing because like my main objective with the festival was to you know be able to connect to as many creatives as possible in this city. You know, to kind of bring out that power and collaboration that you know we all want to see.
Hmm.
We want to see those artists, you know, working with different artists that they may not be used to because sometimes when you're with an artist that may not be the artist that people guess you to be with, you know what
Right.
I mean? It, you know, builds some traction, but also we're able to inspire people in different ways than one. You know what I mean? So I wanted to create a festival that drives people to do more, that kind of gives people those resources to really perfect their craft. So I came up with the Gwendeland Fest through the album
No.
because the album was kind of, my explanation and my intro to being the artist I am today. But then I wanted to transfer the festival and an opportunity to really help grow artists in my community. So we had five local podcasts doing live interviews to kind of work on PR training and just really getting people comfortable in front of a mic. How we walk, how we talk, how we move as creatives, it really matters.
It does.
And so, I want people to work on that because, a lot of people don't know the divide between homie and business.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Facts.
being able to give people an opportunity to work on that, but also, popping their shit, like letting people know, like, this is my craft and this is why I love doing it. You know what I mean? It kind of works hand in hand. I had a fashion show to kind of, showcase the beauty and poise and modeling in our city. Kind of showcase that there's power in how we walk, but there's also power in how we talk too. So kind of showcasing, that confidence that people need in order to be the best creative that they can be. I also had a dance team. Shout out DT dancers, by the way. Those are my girls.
Out y'all.
So I have my dancers at a lot of my shows, more shows than none. So my girls have been with me since my first show in Kansas City. So we just have been really building together, building our own brands, but also uplifting each other in that light. So it's been a real blessing being able to work with them. Shout out DT. My girls actually trained my dancers for about 3 months before the festival. So we had about 7 girls. So it was amazing. They worked 3 months consecutively every week, learning every single one of my songs and choreo to that, to kind of showcase the Gwendeland album in a different way at the festival. So we basically did that. And then I also had 15 of the top KC performers. So we had, we had Sir Trip, we had Phantom Pesos, we had Yaslin Ali, we had HBK Juan, Kid Max, Lydia Alum, we had Cully.
Shout out Cully. I was just in the studio with him last night.
Yeah, that's my dog. Shout out Cully. So, it was really amazing because we had all these amazing creatives in the building. And although our crafts were so different, you know what I mean? Whether you're a model, whether you're an artist, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're just a businessman and woman just looking for a night out, you know what I mean?
Just able to network.
Exactly. There was, there were stars in that building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
All my favorite people were there. Shout out Epitome and Marjay as well. Mr. Hood do food reviews.
Yeah, shout out Glenn.
Yes.
That's the homie for sure.
For sure. And it was, it was great to have them, it was just a different type of vibe in the room the whole night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really great to see. We had for my first showcase, we had roughly 200 people pop out. You know what I mean?
How do you beat that, though?
So,
because you got you kind of went big for that first album. How do you beat that in this next album? Like, what are you gonna build a theme park next?
I might. It's under works. Y'all heard it here first.
Hey, that's
Honestly,
crazy.
I don't really know where I'm gonna go next with it, but I know it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my visuals and stuff, I'm gonna shout out one of my songs real quick, but Caterpillar Smoke by Gwenny. So that one is a really big one that I really put my creative mark on. Because if you watch all of my videos, basically I do a different type of creative process in every single one. Because I don't like to be normal when I do a music video. Like when I pop out for a music video, it's like we're doing a showcase. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's kind of, so we have dances to the songs, we have different types of creativity, but what kind of makes the album different is that it's all different creative lights. It's just kind of the ultimate creative bundle of just who I am as an artist, but also I like to bring something different. I like to do things out of the norm. And just kind of showcase my talent in different ways. So if you all ever look up Caterpillar Smoke by Gwenny, that one is definitely a different type of vibe. And a lot of the songs on the album. So
yeah, is music the only thing you into? Do you act, or are you in anything else, or plan on getting anything else?
Yeah. So really, I'm a musician. I love to cook as well.
Okay.
But
what's your favorite thing to cook?
I like cooking gumbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you know about gumbo?
Listen, I know a few things about some gumbo. Listen.
Okay.
But
shit.
I like, soul foods, stuff like that. I love being in the kitchen. It's kind of like my home away from home when it doesn't, connect to music. Modeling. I'm also a KC model, so
Shout
I
out
do a lot.
y'all.
Yes, so I kind of do a little bit of a lot, but ultimately, music is always my go-to. So like when people see me, they see me in a musical light. So, but I definitely want to see my music not only grow but inspire those creatives in KC because I know my sound is a little different than most, but that's something that I like. I like different stuff. So
Facts.
like,
We need that. We need
yeah,
that. Everybody can't sound the same, Gwenny.
most
You know what
definitely.
I'm saying? And it's a lot of them that do. You
And
know what I'm saying?
that's where I'm kind of, I'm gonna shout out my homie again, but Cully, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cully is one of those artists that like he just brings a whole different type of creative
he
realm. He has his
does.
own lane, and nobody, you know what I mean, is really straying outside of that. And like that's what I like to, connect with different artists on different levels because it's like what may inspire them on a daily basis might inspire me in the weirdest
Mm.
and oddest way, and I love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got a chance to watch him work last
Yeah.
night, like create. When he first started, I was like, what is. By the time the
Yeah.
song was over, I was in here
Fire.
like, hey, bro, that motherfucker hard. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just his creative process is like none other. And
Most
I've
definitely.
been cool enough to
Hmm.
be around some great creatives and see how they work. And he's one.
Most
I was
definitely.
kind of sleep on him for a while up until our open mic last Thursday at Double Tap. He came up and introduced himself, and we
Yeah.
did an interview, quick interview down there. And everybody was like, "Bro, you don't know who he is?" And I'm like, "I've seen him, but I
Kelly's
really don't
dope.
know." I've been tuned in ever since. I told him last night, bro. I've been just listening to your music, and I love it.
It's so different, and
Yeah,
it's something that like Casey hasn't heard before. And I tell him this actually all the time. I'm like, you really have your own lane that you built for
yes,
yourself, and I can, I'm congratulating you so much for that because a lot of people can't do that,
no,
or a lot of
or
people are
or
scared to
won't.
do it.
Yeah, they
You
scared
know
to
what
be
I mean?
themselves.
And so it's like, and that's the crazy part is, so funny story. We had Cully at the Gwendeland Fest, and I told Cully, he's like, I don't know, like, are you sure? Rage is accepted in here, and I was like, yeah, yeah. So I was like, bring out the chairs, do the whole bit. You know what I mean? And he did just that. Like he
Dope.
got on the Raptors. Like he was,
Yeah,
he was going crazy. And I love that though because it's something about an artist just getting outside of their shell and just like showcasing like this is what I love to do. You know what I mean? Not people
yeah.
don't gotta understand it. People don't
No,
gotta have a
no. The
description.
ones that it's for
You
is
know
for. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? And everything ain't for everybody. You
Most
know what I'm saying? I
definitely.
understood that young.
And it's also like Pesos and Sovi Hayes. Like these are two artists that I've heavily been inspired with ever since I came to Kansas City. So like
Yeah.
you know, Pesos kind of took me under his wing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
like
peeped. I
showed
watched
me,
all. Yeah, I watched.
yeah. And he really showed me like a different type of creativity in the city, but has also taught me a lot of life lessons in the process because that's
Yeah,
what a lot of people don't see. The artist development realm of Kansas City, they need to be inspired by amazing creatives that want to see you win, but are also going to drive you to get there. And that's just something that I've definitely taken from that.
yeah, and he's a good guy because most people do it and try to take advantage. You
Exactly.
know what
And
I'm
never,
saying?
there has never been a moment in time where Pesos has
Exactly. See, I
ever
already
made,
know that. You know what I'm
because he's,
saying?
yeah, and he really takes his time with his artists. So what a lot of people don't see, behind the cameras, behind the script and stuff like that, like he really takes his time to get to know each artist in the collective and really see how he can help them in the most specific ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Takes that extra mile, and is just humble about it. A lot of artists in his caliber, like where he's at, you know what I mean, wouldn't even take a moment to think about the artists that are just up and coming and they
Yeah.
want to see them grow. But he's like on a different type of mindset. Like this is the next generation. Let me help them.
Yeah.
Or like this is the
He
generation
acts like an
now.
old man and he's so young.
I'm saying,
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
yeah,
you are young. Act young. You know what I'm
most
saying? But
definitely,
that's just who he is. His character is such an amazing person and he's so giving. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And it's like with
He
the tunes and tacos, like that's something that the city hasn't really seen either. You know what
no,
I mean? You
not
don't
something that's consistent. It's
exactly
consistent. He stays consistent with it. And shout out to Tunes and Tacos.
pop out,
Every other
y'all.
Tuesday. You know
Most
what I'm
definitely.
saying? Black Charlie. Shout out Black Charlie's
Shout out Black
for
Charlie's.
hosting and giving us a place to where we can show our talents and stuff because it ain't very many places in the city that we can do that.
Most
You know what
definitely.
I'm saying? Um, you said you've been here in Kansas City for 2 years doing your
Mhm.
music, right? And I know the men. Have you noticed everybody play nice? Or the females have they played nice? Let's keep it 100.
Yeah,
Keep it 100 now.
so I've seen both sides. You
Okay.
know what I mean? I've seen both sides of, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, but one thing I've remained is myself. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I take every, hard road as a lesson and every good one as a blessing. You know what I mean? Like, literally. So it's like, I've met some bad apples that just comes with the territory, but at the same time, like, I was able to grow from that. A lot of people wouldn't know, but like, with the Gwendeland Fest, you know what I mean? I learned some of my darkest lessons through that. You know what I mean? I was, there was even one point in it that I, was scammed. You know what I mean? As an artist, I
Oh
was
wow.
definitely, about 3K. Did some bad
Oh
business, yeah.
wow.
But it was very heartbreaking that someone would take it there with me. You know what I mean? But what I learned from it ultimately is that you can't trust everybody. You can't put a solid heart in everyone's face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just can't. So, but I will say that, I was able to bring it back together, really learn from it, and, build the best event that I could be because, as a new artist, 200 people, that's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
it is,
pretty good,
especially for the
you
first
know?
one, the first annual show. And y'all
Exactly.
give her money back, man. Quit being like that. Don't do that. Y'all see
Man.
somebody trying to make it, and you holding them back. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
blessings come around, you know what I mean? So, things happen, but also we learn those as life lessons. So I definitely, took that chip on the shoulder, but it ain't gonna happen again,
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I bet. 3K is a lot of
you
money to
know?
be losing these days,
So
especially for somebody to be scamming you out of when you're doing something so positive.
most
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? It ain't like you investing in some drugs or something. You actually trying to put on for the city. You
I'm
know what I'm
saying,
saying?
yeah.
That's just crazy to me when I hear stuff like that happen to good people.
But
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not, I'm not sad about it. You know what I mean? I think that it was definitely a lesson that I put in my pocket. You know what I mean? And nothing's perfect, but you take these lessons and you learn from them. But also, the story's never ending. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like, I'm never, I take these things as like lessons, but also I take them like ways to grow from. And I learned that like not everybody is your people, so you got to be very careful about who you surround yourself with, who you
Facts.
do business with. Even anything. You got to be just on a swivel at all times.
Yeah.
You know.
That's for sure. You
Hmm.
definitely gotta watch people, even the people you think you can trust.
Most
Watch them
definitely.
even closer. That's
Hmm.
just my words of advice to you. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the ones that try to get over on you the quickest, the ones that's closest to you
Most
when they think
definitely.
that they know you. You know what I'm saying? Or
And
think
that's
you
so
not
crazy
looking. I
too.
know,
It's
I
the crazy
know,
reality.
it is. They think that you ain't looking, or you love them so much that you not looking, but you paying very close attention. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy to
Hmm.
even try something on me,
That
or
part.
good people. Period is crazy to me because it's gonna come
Well,
back around.
and that's like that just is how you kind of read like the people that you're dealing with. Like I feel like sometimes when you interact with different people, and this goes for anyone that's like networking on a daily basis and stuff. Like you just learn people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You learn how to interact with them. You learn how to grow from them. You learn how to just evolve from the normalized type of people. And I feel like people just naturally, when you start networking with people and getting to know people, like those people that you mix with and who you don't. But
Yeah.
it's all about how you navigate that, how you move around that in a positive way. Cause like it don't always gotta be negativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can take it as
some people will take it there with you, but that's when you got to remove yourself though before it
exactly.
gets too bad. But some people, that's all they want.
That is
They
true.
live out misery loves
Which
company.
and that's so crazy because like I feel like with a lot of people like that, a lot of people do turn to the negative. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's like
It's easy.
it is
It's
easy.
easier to take it negative. It's
Exactly,
hard
because
for some reason. It's hard to say. You know what? My bad.
well, I feel like that really showcases people's inability to communicate.
Yeah.
Like which is crazy because sometimes a simple conversation would do a lot of justice and would do a lot
Hmm.
of good.
It save a lot of lives.
Exactly, most definitely, and that that yeah, and it's like a lot of people turn to that violence, and it's very sad, it's very upsetting. So I definitely understand that. But I feel like that's the moment where we as creatives need to be able to, really add that positivity. Like, don't be an aiding source. You know what I mean? Be different. Like, be
Yeah,
the change.
exactly,
So.
exactly.
Mm.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, I don't know. In the next 5 years, I definitely see myself sitting front row, BET. You know what I mean? Getting
Okay.
ready to accept my first
Yeah, I
award
remember
with
this
them.
phase.
Most definitely. I have big dreams. You know what I mean? I like to think, you know, I appreciate the local scene, but I definitely want to think more global, not
There
just
you
local.
go.
You know what I mean? Like, I always have, I always want to push myself for different experiences, different, ways to grow, not just in my hometown. You know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
to do more. So it's like, I just got back from Texas. Well, not Texas, Tennessee. So I'm about to go to Texas within the next month for South by
I'm about to say
Southwest.
South by
So
Southwest.
super excited for
Are you on
that.
any shows out there? You gonna do any shows?
To be announced,
Okay, all
y'all.
right.
To
Well,
be announced.
this ain't coming out to after. Trust me, we built up. They won't see this to afterward, but still
Oh,
keep it to
period.
yourself.
So yeah, y'all, I'm gonna definitely have some shows out at South by Southwest. Me and the girls, shout out DT Dancers. They're
Okay.
gonna be coming with me with pesos. So we're really excited to be out there and just really learning the different scene for South by Southwest, but also, finding new ways to grow, new ways to connect and new ways to network and just, be the best version of ourselves we can be.
Uh,
So
I think that'll be a dope look for you.
yeah.
To walk the streets and get to know some of the different artists and see how down to earth a lot of them
Mm-hmm.
are. You know, we get so caught up with this facade on the internet that this is
Right.
how people are, and sometimes we just need to meet them in real life. You know what
That
I'm
part.
saying? And actually see them and see that they real, because the internet's something fierce.
It
You know what
is,
I'm saying? You can be whoever you want to be
that
on,
part.
on there. But I feel like South by Southwest would be a dope look for anybody that's going.
Right.
Um, we can't make it this year. It seems to always sneak up on us,
It really does. You know what I
and we're
mean?
not prepared.
And
We want to go where we can take promo stuff, that's already printed
well,
and
hey, there's
shirts.
always
And
Rolling Loud. You know
yeah,
what
it
I mean? That'll
is.
be the next step. You know what
It,
I
it,
mean?
it would
So
be, but it seems that sneaks up on us too,
it
and
really
we're so caught
does.
up doing this. You know what I'm saying? That we really don't have enough time because we're still building this brand and trying to get this off the ground,
Yeah.
trying to help other artists like you get seen and
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Thank
saying,
you.
give back. Oh, no problem. And if I felt like you weren't a good enough, I don't play with my platform. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So anybody just can't come.
Most
You know
definitely.
what
This
I'm
is an
saying here?
exclusive.
Yeah.
Y'all heard it here. This is exclusive.
This
This
is
ain't no
exclusive.
free invite.
Oh no,
No free
no.
invite.
And that's how it has to be. I have to invite you. If not, I will charge. You know
Most
what I'm
definitely.
saying?
Yeah.
But when Pesos hit me up and was like, I need to get my homegirl on there, I
Yeah.
was all for it
Shout
because
out
I had seen.
pesos.
You know what I'm saying? I left, I think, early the night you performed at the last Tacos and Tuesdays I was at.
Hmm.
So I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, but I told him from the jump, yeah, let's get it.
Most
You know what I'm
def.
saying?
Yeah.
Any way I can help push this city forward or any positive thing, I'm down. You got me. You know what I'm saying? It tugs at my heart to give people an outlet, because it was like when I was coming up, we didn't have that.
Right.
We did, but it was like hot summer nights, and there wasn't really nobody performing, or
Most
we had to listen
definitely.
to the music they was playing. Now I feel like our kids need an outlet, or I'm 45. I don't know how old you are, but I feel like,
24.
see, I got you by 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that means you just carry more wisdom,
Yeah,
dog. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
But you are part of the reason why I do this, because I
Thank you.
feel a need to give back to the youth, give y'all a platform
Most
where
definitely.
people can see you, not just in Kansas City, everywhere my platform is shown at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, get people hip to Kansas City more. You know what
Most
I'm saying? We get
definitely.
overlooked so much. You know what I'm
Overlooked and
saying?
underbooked. You know
Yeah,
what I
man, we
mean?
book everybody from out of town, but not our own artists.
Exactly. And
You
isn't
know
that
what I'm saying?
crazy?
It is. It gets on my nerves, especially the old artists. I'm gonna keep it real. when I see these old artists that been coming here for the last 25 years, just running up bags,
Yeah.
and they don't put none of our guys on those shows, or
I feel like
I get livid.
people get so used to a one lane train
Hmm.
whenever it comes to, creativity. Like, people sometimes don't want to hear the different stuff. You know what I mean? They don't want to go off of what they're used to listening to, which sometimes you'll find some pretty amazing gems, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
in that pot of creativity.
you will.
And I think that, I want you to always remember too with your platform, like, that's what sets you apart from a lot of these other people doing the exact same thing you're doing. It's
Hmm.
being able to take that step, like, I want to inspire people.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Your most current drive from what I'm getting is like being for the people. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Really pushing for the youth and like showcasing to them like, hey, you can be on a different platform, cuz like I pay attention, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I be watching, and like your platform is very different compared to people that are also doing the same thing that you do. The professionalism, the people that you have on here, like, there are stars that sit in this chair, y'all. There are stars, you know what I mean? And I think that
facts.
it's really cool to be on a platform that cares that much and kind of has that like-minded business feel of like, we want to inspire people. We
Yeah,
want to do things outside of our norm, but overall, we love doing what we do at the end of the day. So I
yeah.
definitely see that.
We want you to know that it's obtainable to sit in this chair. You know what I'm saying?
Most
You just gotta
definitely.
be you gotta be on your grind. I'm not. You can't just hit my inbox and be like, I rap.
Most
You
definitely.
know what I'm
You got to
saying?
bring something different. You know what I mean?
I ain't seen you at no shows. I ain't seen no videos. I don't. I've never heard of you. You know what I'm saying? And you think you want to come and sit in this chair? And no,
That
it
part.
costs to put on these productions.
That is
This
true.
isn't free. I don't know why y'all think that or whatever, but it's only given to a chosen few because they put in the work. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
And I want to give you your flowers for sticking to it because I know it can be discouraging around here. People whisper, people say this and that about you. I know
Most
they've done the same thing about us and our platform. Tune it out.
Oh, always.
Yeah, fuck them.
Always. Yeah.
Because what they say don't matter. I'll tell you when I started this, I, I was scared. I didn't even know how to hold a conversation for real with people because I never really did except my family. So my first interviews were like 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh,
We've been
wow.
at it for 42 minutes.
Ooh, we breaking records. We breaking
The
records.
longest I've been is like 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, and the art of dialogue has become one of my favorite things
Right.
to sit and make people comfortable and draw uh, their life out of them. Talk about their ups and downs. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and how they got to where they going. And I ain't gonna stop. I love it now.
Most
I
definitely.
love it now.
And you'll definitely see over the years to come like how big this platform grows, and
Mhm.
like you never know who could be sitting in this chair next. You know what I mean? We got, some local stars, but also, eventually your platform's gonna reach to where like
Oh yeah.
you have people calling you like on the radar, like, hello, can I get in? You know what I mean? And that's where you see your craft like really evolve and really just be a different type of setting than what it started as. Because
Yeah.
those 6 to 7 minute interviews, eventually you're gonna be cutting it close to like an hour and a half too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because the vibe's just so good. So I'm excited to see how much the Heart of 50 grows, and just being able to be a part of this platform. I want to thank y'all. Like, thank you so much for having me on this platform and just really giving me a chance to let people know like, hey, this is Gwenny, this is Miss Beauty, and this is what she does. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but I do appreciate y'all so much, and I'm excited to see how the Heart of 50 grows over the years.
We're gonna watch you as well. I'm excited to see where you take your journey.
Thank you.
So we'll be right. We'll be right by each other.
Most definitely.
We'll see each other at the top. How about that?
Oh, I know that's
All
right.
right.
Yep, that
All
sounds
right.
great.
With it being the beginning of the year, 2026,
Mhm.
Black History Month, if you could leave the people with any words of encouragement or just words from your heart that you could tell a friend or anybody,
Mhm.
what would you tell?
I would definitely say always stay true to your artistry. You know what I mean? Always be different, dare to be different, but also, live to inspire. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't given God's talent to be anything shy of amazing. So I would say to everyone that supports me to everyone that doubts me, or even, to the people that haven't heard my sound yet. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you take, the songs that you hear and really hear the meaning behind them, but, also feel inspired to be the best you that you are every day. So,
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from her herself. Gwendolyn, check her out. If they want to reach you or for any acting, singing,
most definitely.
how can they reach you? Give them your platform.
So y'all can follow me on IG at Gwenny, GWENNY_official. That'll be one of my main platforms. But yeah, y'all definitely tap into the music. I'm on YouTube. I'm on all platforms, really. Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. So definitely tap in with me. And, this isn't the last you'll see of Miss Beauty. So
That's for sure. Now, give them one of your dopest songs that you like that they can go download right now. I want y'all to go download this right now as soon as you see it.
I would definitely say Caterpillar Smoke or The Muse, which is my song with Phantom Pesos, and Hard Body. Shout out my dogs. So definitely two of my favorites. And also XOXO Your Beauty. That one's a really good one.
Okay, y'all, go check her out. Give her some streams. We need some money in our pockets. Trust me. We love creating art, right, and being artists, but we like being paid too.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know that's right.
Heart of the 50 States, another dope episode, another dope artist. Thank you again for coming, showing up. We're going to go in here and get this one mic done. She is going to do that, y'all, so stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe. Go do the same thing to her page. Like, comment, subscribe. We do this. Shout out to A16, Stony Shot It, and Mab from Industry Sounds, because without them, this would not be possible. Heart of the 50 States, we out.